Hey there, Wranglers. How you doing? It's me, Neon Wrangler. First of all, I wanted to apologize to a bigger YouTuber. I'm not using their name. I'm not trying to get clout. It was kind of mean. They changed their format, and I was kind of mean about it. I subsequently apologized to them on their, on their comments and everything. But I felt bad about doing that. They're a very good YouTuber, and I was just being kind of salty that day, and I don't. I apologize for that. Anyway, today's show is about the Mandela effect. Now, normally I don't take a side on these things. Normally I kind of present you the evidence and I let you make up your own mind. But I have a very strong opinion about the Mandela effect, and I'm not going to hide it, and I'm not going to make you wait any longer to hear it. I don't believe in what it. I don't. How should I say this? I don't believe the Mandela effect is what so many people claim it is. I think it's something totally different, which I'm going to talk about. The Mandela effect, for those of you who don't know, there's a million videos on it, is the belief that Nelson Mandela, pictured right here, died in prison while he was in South Africa. He didn't die; he was released. But many people claim to remember seeing the announcements of his death, many years before he actually did pass, and while he was in prison, and they had these services and all this kind of stuff. He was a big fighter against apartheid and that kind of thing down in South Africa. So many people believe that they remember his death when it didn't occur at that time. And after that, there started becoming, should say becoming, there were more and more people that claimed that they could remember other things that seemed to have changed. Oh no, Nelson Mandela died, but no, he's still alive. This happened, but no, it's different now. And basically, the theory says that at some point we're in an alternate timeline that diverged, and we're remembering stuff from another timeline and we're in a different timeline. So the stuff that is different was in the previous timeline, and now we're in this timeline where it's the way it is now. If that doesn't make any sense, I'm apologizing for that. Basically, they think something happened where the timelines forked. Some people think it was CERN or something like that. Where okay, we were heading down this one timeline, everything was copacetic, we all remembered the same thing, and then boom, we shot off onto a different one where things changed slightly, but we still have the memories of the original. Now that I've explained it twice, let's see if, and I'm doing that for my benefit as much as I am yours. Let's talk about that. First of all, I don't think that there are alternate timelines. I know some physicists think there are and things like that. It just never made any sense to me. How would the universe know that, based on events or whatever, that timelines are going to fracture and split and all that? I don't know. I don't. It kind of gets absurd when you think about it. Maybe there's plenty of smarter people than me that don't agree with that, but I think it's absurd. No, I think there's one timeline. So no, Nelson Mandela did not die in prison. Let me give you a few more examples. Okay, C3PO's silver leg. Let me move this around a little bit here so you can see it right there. C3PO had a silver leg. He's always had a silver leg. Some people say that this changed from 1977 to now, but if you go back and watch the original versions, that now that the leg is silver when it wasn't before. No, it was silver. I remember seeing it when I went to Star Wars in 1977 and stood in line to see it. I remember noticing that, and I thought, well, that's kind of a nice detail. He got put together by he's got some mileage on him, so he's got some different parts here and there. I remember distinctly seeing it in 1977. This did not change. This has never changed. He's always had a silver leg. The toy didn't. He did. It would have cost a lot more probably to make the toy with one silver leg and one golden, like you see in the picture on the right. So why bother? No, he's always had the silver leg. Let me see what else we got. The Fruit of the Loom logo, I remember both. I mean, supposedly the one on the right is the one that they've always had, and you can't really find one of the Fruit of the Loom logo on the left. But what I think this one was there was lots of TV commercials about Fruit of the Loom. I think the one we see on the left was actually the TV commercial logo for a while. The one on the right was the one they always would sew into the underwear. That's my theory on that one, but no, that didn't change either. And I did a deep dive into this one because I was pretty convinced that, yeah, it did look like the corn had the cornucopia on it. And no, you can go back and as back as far back as you want, and you won't find the Fruit of the Loom, the cornucopia on the label. So no, that one's that way. Oscar Mayer, people think it's spelled different. It's not spelled different. When I was a little kid, when I was an itty bitty kid, they used to have a song. Okay, my baloney has a first name. It's Oscar. My baloney has a second name. It's Mayer. Oh, I like to eat it every day. And if you ask me why, I'll say Oscar Mayer has a way of Bologna. I remember the jingle with the A in it. No, this never changed. I sang this as a little kid, like 7, 8, 9. This did not change. People think it did. Hey, Pikachu's black tail. I can't talk to you about this one. I was a little old for Pokemon. I don't know if he did or not. All the pictures of Pikachu I saw, he did not have the black highlight thing on his tail, or the black indicator. So I don't. That one. That's everything I've seen of Pikachu. He's been completely yellow, and that's what I've. You can do your research, and your Pokemon experts probably know better than I do. Um, the guy from Monopoly never had a monocle. I never remember a monocle on him. Played the game my whole life. I hate the game, but I've played it my whole life. I never remember the monocle. I think that's something we put in. It's a typical cliche when you have the rich daddy Warbucks money mongering, high society type. That's what I think that one is. Dolly from Jaws. Let's talk about her. There's Moonraker. Sorry about that. We had Dolly from Moonraker, and that's her boyfriend Jaws. If you ever saw Moonraker, it was a James Bond movie. And there's a scene at the end that I'm going to show you here in a second where people claim Dolly had braces. Now, that's Sinbad. Well, and we'll get to Dolly. We'll come back around to Dolly, but Dolly never did have braces. And the actress herself, Blanche, and I've got her name, Blanche Saskard or something, I believe. I'll have to double check it here in a minute. Blanche, call her Blanche for now. She said, I never wore the braces. And that's right from her mouth, okay? No pun intended. She didn't wear the mouth. But you see her and Jaws sitting there together. And I think the reason that, uh, I'll get into why when we see it again here. Here's one of the biggest ones, Mr. Sinbad. There's supposedly a movie out there called Shazam, not the Captain Marvel superhero Shazam, but where Sinbad played a genie called Shazam. So many people seem to remember this movie that never existed. Sinbad himself said, I never played a genie called Shazam or any genie. He recently voiced a genie in something, I think, but no, he, out of his own mouth, he never made this movie. There was a movie by Shaq called Kazam, that was a genie, but there are so many, not so many. There's many people who claim they saw this movie. They had this movie Shazam by Sinbad, and they had copies of it at their video store, and they saw it, and they could describe the outside of it and all that. It didn't exist. It wasn't. No, it didn't. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Curious George, as you see him right here. Did Curious George have a tail or not? No, he never had a tail. You can go back and find all of the covers of the original books, and he never had a tail. He was never supposed to be a monkey. Okay, there's a difference between apes and monkeys. One of the significant differences between an ape and a monkey is apes do not have tails. Monkeys do. Curious George is a little primate. He happens to be an ape. And I think the woman that wrote the books probably understood anthropology a little bit better than, a lot of us did, I think. But no, here's one of his original book covers. He never had a tail. The little guy never did. There's Blanche again here. Let me see. Let me put my glasses on. You guys can't look at me while I'm wearing my glasses because I look different. Oh, Blanche Ravelijk. Okay, this is her. Pretty young lady. And she herself claims she never wore braces in Moonraker, but everybody claims she did. And we'll get to that slide in a bit, why she did claim she did. Gandalf. Now, there's a line when Gandalf fights that Balrog in Khazad-dûm in the Fellowship of the Ring after he, sends the Balrog into the abyss, and then as the Balrog's falling, it catches his legs with its whip and pulls him down. And the supposed Mandela effect is Gandalf saying, "Run, you fools." that he never said that. Never ever in the movies. Never was it said. And in the books, which I've read again when I was a kid in the 70s, read the books over and over again. The line is "Fly, you fools, fly." Now in the movie he might just say "Fly, you fools," but in the book it's "Fly, you fools, fly." I mean, those of us when we were who read the Lord of the Rings when we were younger, before there were any movies, we used to take a lot of time and memorize passages from the book, and that's kind of how a lot of Tolkien fans communicated back then. We didn't have an internet, you know. You just people picked up on these things. So no, he never ever said "Run, you fools." It's not in the book. It's not in the movies. It never was. And if it had been in the movie at any shape or form, I would have spotted it. Would have remembered them getting the line wrong. They got plenty of lines wrong in the movies, but they're great movies, A+ movies. Plenty of different lines got changed. That one did not. Gandalf never said it, so it's not part of the Mandela effect. Here's Blanche. The reason she's smiling there is at the end of the movie, Jaws is a big giant guy. She's a tiny little girl. He smiles at her, and Jaws has those metal teeth, and he smiles at her, and she smiles back. And so many people seem to remember her having braces on her teeth. I thought she did. I did. I thought she had the braces, and I looked it up, and Blanche, I believe, she said she never did. I think what we did is and you'll even see little write-ups in news articles and TV guide things from the time that claim that she had braces, but she still never did. Okay, she didn't, according to her own. The same woman, still alive. I think what happened is we never saw her smile once in the entire movie. He smiles at her, and she smiles back. He's a big, giant muscle guy. She's little. She's really small, and she's super strong. She just saved his life by pulling this huge piece of metal off of him that no one could lift. And the two of them smile at each other and share this really cool moment. I think that's what's the smile about. But a lot of people remember the braces. But I think we put them there because it would have been a funny gag. It would actually have been a better choice, but they didn't do it, and she didn't wear them. She's not part of the Mandela effect by her own admission. Here you are back at Nelson Mandela again, and we got back to 3PO. These are some examples of the Mandela effect. Okay, I've run through some here to get you going there. Let me tell you something. Memory is crap. Okay, your memory is garbage, and we experience this on a daily basis. All of us do, and as you get older, you'll experience it more and more. But there's so many things that are comparable to Mandela effect, supposedly Mandela effect, that we experience all the time that we never chalk up to it just because we have memory. Memory is so poor. Eyewitness testimony is one of the lowest kinds of testimony. Well, you shouldn't say lowest. It's one of the most unreliable. I correct lowest. A lawyer can correct me if I'm saying this wrong. Eyewitness testimony is very unreliable, okay? Because our memories are very unreliable. We add things, we subtract things, we remember things differently. We fill in gaps that aren't there. We forget stuff that was there. I mean, you'll start. No, let me tell you this. Instead of trying to go through and list a lot of things, start noticing in your life when somebody tells you about something maybe you did when you were in high school that you have no recollection of. Also, tell me about times maybe you found an old toy that you used to remember, and you remember every detail of the toy, and then all of a sudden notice something slightly different about it. That's not the Mandela effect. Better yet, there's a ton of movie lines that we get wrong, and that they'll count them up to the Mandela effect or whatever, and they're not. There's just tons of movie lines that we add and subtract and mess with in our heads. You know, Hannibal Lecter never said "Hello, Clarice." He never said that, but everybody says that. I don't know why. Darth Vader said, "Luke, I am your father." He never said that either. You know, we all know the real line was, well, we don't all know, but he never said that. He just said, "I am your father." And he goes, "Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father." And then Luke's like, "Yeah, he did. He told me you killed him." And he goes, "No, I am your father." And then that's my wife back there. But no, I ruined my childhood. Yeah, that never happened. I think most people know that. I mean, these are things that we make our own little memes. We always have. Okay, memes aren't just something that came up on the internet. You know, they started a long time ago. Um, there's many times whenever I'm watching a show or something like that, and I thought the line was one thing and it wasn't, or, you know, it's changed just enough, or I don't know what that comes from, but that's basically what I think this is your memory messing with you. Your memory has holes in it. Your memory is selective. Your memory is a construction device, not necessarily a recall device. It works both ways. And being a former police officer and, being put on the stand and all that kind of thing, um, them knowing that memory is unreliable, we had to have our notes with us. One of the first things the lawyers would ask us when I would go to trial is, "Do you have your notes, officer?" And I would say yes, and I always would say yes. Usually I did have my notes. Sometimes I'd have crappy notes that I just wrote down, but 9 times out of 10 I would have the report and I'd have my notes on the report. I mean, I did my job, I did my due diligence. At least I mean, anything that was significant, I did have notes. Some were better than others. I'm human, just like anybody else. But that is because our memories are unreliable and we write things. We have it's a gives a little bit more credibility to something that maybe we did or didn't remember. Have you ever found an old thing you wrote? That you forgot you wrote, or you like an old email or something like that, and it reads totally different. There's a million different examples of our memory failing us, and it doesn't only fail us. How should I say this? Individually, but it'll fail us in our groups of friends too. And we can convince each other of stuff that is slightly different than what really happened. We like to tell stories. We like to embellish those stories. We like to make those stories bigger. You get a group of friends together, and somebody taking a spill on his dirt bike can pretty soon become his pedal dirt bike can become some epic tale shortly, or you're talking about some dead deceased friend. They can become they can become Hercules himself, or some magnificent creature that in real life the story might have been mildly amusing, and then unfortunately you lose somebody, and then the story is one of the funniest things. It just gets magnified without us intending it to be. And we also diminish things, as well. So these are my thoughts, and I could go on about this for a long time, but I'm not going to. I'm challenging you to start finding these things in your life, and I'm also challenging you to challenge me. And that's all I'm going to have to say about it together today. Basically, Mandela effect is not caused from a split universe. The things have always been the same way we were. Our memories are just crap. Not only our individual memories, not only our collective memories with our friends, but even as a society as a whole, we can do the same thing with our memories and misremember things and concoct things and not only recall but construct. Anyway, have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Oh, don't forget, you'll remember this differently the second time you watch it.